What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. We got us a rap beef, okay? Y'all, we got us a beef. The beef, what's in the beef, okay? What's beef? We got a beef. We've been talking about these rap beefs for weeks, and I ain't gonna even hold you. Y'all, I told y'all this before. It's hard to keep up, okay? It's hard for me to keep up. I am elderly. I ain't got the wind like I used to. The wind ain't beneath my wings like it used to in regards to keeping up with the current rap situations. Hey, it's been a battle. Okay, lots of endurance, lots of being on social media, lots of reading tweets and comments and feedback from people that I would care not to be looking at. I'm gonna just keep it a buck, okay? Because I don't like to consume everybody's stuff. I don't like to put it in my brain. I don't want it in me. But for the sake of being abreast on what's going on, I've kept my ear to the streets, to the measly streets, y'all. And something told me, because I usually record this podcast very early in the week. And I was putting together the outline, and I was like, it's something. I was like, let me wait, because it ain't really a lot going on. And I feel like if I wait one more day to record this, something gonna pop up. And if not, we just gonna go with it. And lo and behold, the streets said, and they had the time, because I ain't really looking at the time like that. Somebody said at 8:24, which they saying it got something to do with Kobe and this man thinking and saying he the Kobe Bryant of rap. Kendrick Lamar dropped his response to all of the hoopla and the back and forth that was going on. The song is titled Euphoria. He didn't leak it. He didn't put it out have something on some random site. He tweeted it from his Twitter account, put the YouTube link in the tweet, sent it. It's on YouTube. And that man said what he said. So, to catch you all up, this has been the most convoluted rap beef that I have seen in a long time. And when I say that, I'm thinking, I honestly feel like it is the most convoluted, because from many beefs ago, past and present, usually we know specifically who beefing with who, and it's one-on-one. It may be some crews involved, because when Jay-Z then was beefing, even on Takeover, Jay-Z, he even said, Chris and Neefy, we running this rap-ish, okay? Everybody in the crew was involved, but you knew it was against this person and this person. The only other person I could say or remember who took on multiple people at one time was Ice Cube with No Vaseline, because he talked about all of NWA, okay? He named everybody. If you was around, you gonna get it. I can't think of nobody else. If y'all can't, please. But that's not the point. The point is, we done heard rap responses from J. Cole. He done apologized. Rick Ross done got in it. We didn't even know he had nothing to do with it. Metro Boomin was on the beats, so apparently he was involved. Then Drake got into it. Kendrick Lamar said, "Ain't no big three. I'm the big one, the 1, 2, and the 3." Kanye, somehow they said Kanye had something to say. It was Chris Brown jumped in on another side with Quavo. It's been so much, but now we finally got the response from Kendrick Lamar. And somebody brought this up, because I fell victim to this as well. And I apologize. Because we are in a social media time and everything, we have access to things so fast, and we're used to receiving information as quickly as possible. We don't really realize how long it took for responses to happen previously. And I know I was saying this, Kendrick on the clock, so-and-so on the clock. Somebody tweeted it, and I don't know if this is accurate because I didn't have time to fact check it, but if it is, it just lends to the thought around this. Somebody said it was 3 months between Takeover and Ether. 3 months. Y'all know how long 3 months is in social media age? Child, that may as well have been 2 years from now. 3 months. Somebody said when Kool Moe Dee was beefing back in the day with, I forget who was it, LL Cool J, they said that beef, it took 3 years for somebody to respond. 3 years? Can you imagine? I could, because I was alive. The point is, I am so sorry for my part, the part that I played in rushing this beef, because as long as it's staying on paper, I'm having me a good old time. I ain't even gonna hold you. There was another beef that I was scared about. Okay, I was scared. That other beef, I said last week I was scared. But this one, hey, I'm locked in, baby. And also, I'm wondering if it took that long because Kendrick Lamar uploaded the song to YouTube. It's on iTunes. It's streamable, which tells me he had to get the sample clearance, because the beginning of the beef, the rap song, is called Euphoria. Again, it starts off with Teddy Pendergrass, "You're my latest, my greatest inspiration." Did he have to get that sample cleared? Because it takes a long time to get, sometimes it could take a minute to get sample cleared. So that may have been a holdup. Okay. The brother may have been done, and we got to get the sample cleared. Now, into what was said. So there have been, and I'm just going to paraphrase because I can't get into it. It was 6 minutes long. And y'all know Kendrick Lamar, you're going to have to get the notepad out, take notes. I listened to the song like 5 times. I watched different reaction videos. I've been reading people breaking this down because I need to catch everything because it was so much in there. But Drake in previous years, not previous years, but on previous songs, basically said Kendrick Lamar got little feet, he little, and some other stuff. Okay. Kendrick Lamar responds and basically said, "I don't like nothing about you. I don't know why. Like, I just don't like you. I don't like that." He said, "I do like the bops. Like when you be bopping, I do like that." He said he don't like how he be acting like he black and claiming blackness. He don't like that his Canadian accent. He don't like when he rapping different accents. He don't like the type of women he mess with. He don't like that he don't take care of his kid, allegedly. Okay, I'm just gonna throw it in. He said he don't like the way he raising his kid. He said he a bad bitch. He said he had fake abs. He said all of this. Okay, that's just a tenth of it. And that's what we got. So how do I feel about this? I am having a good time. To so much to the point where once it dropped and I listened to it a couple times, I had to go back and listen to the Takeover and Ether. I even listened to Pull It Up, Is That Your Chick? I had the Lost verses. Okay. I had to go back and compare because a lot of people were saying on social media, and you can tell who's a fan of who by people's reaction and their response. A lot of the Drake fans were basically saying this ain't good. It's too convoluted. It's too long. Kendrick wasn't talking about nothing. Kendrick Lamar fans were saying this is it. This is the best that we've heard. Kendrick up 2-0. But a lot of people also were saying that there's no replay factor in this. They were insinuating because Takeover and Ether, you could play them in the club or just bopping around. Takeover was even on the Blueprint. It's a single. So people were trying to discredit it because of that. So I had to go back and listen. Because one thing I ain't gonna do is come at this from a closed-minded perspective, okay? I listened to it. I even listened to No Vaseline again. I listened to Eazy-E, Real MFNGs. I went back. I said, you know what? Let me take a gander. Let me go on back. Now, while those that I mentioned, you could listen to over and over again, some of them were very aggressive. Because when we talk getting back into the Ice Cube and the it was aggressive rap. Like you had to be in the mood. You had to be feeling hard to be listening to that. But Takeover and Ether, they was jamming. Are these songs that we're getting now like radio singles? I don't think so necessarily. But that does not take away from the fact that these are solid contributions into the current rap battle that we have. So with that, what do I think is going to happen next? Who knows? Because one thing that did happen, Kendrick Lamar mentioned Pusha T in there. And we all know that when Drake was battling Pusha T, allegedly, because I don't want no smoke from nobody. I don't know who y'all, I don't know y'all are. I feel like if I'm remembering correctly, the beef just dwindled. Once the story Adnan came out, it just stopped. Do I think that's what's going to happen right now? No. I have a feeling that Drake got more in the chamber. Somebody said, I read a rumor that said Kendrick Lamar, this song was originally 12 minutes and that he has more in the chamber. So I have no real solid predictions, except I feel like in order to maintain his credibility within rap, Kendrick Lamar also said he needs to stop saying the N-word, and that's a whole nother conversation because, hey, I ain't even going, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like if Drake does not respond, there will be another notch within the conversation around best rappers with him not finishing this off and closing it. Does that change legacy? No. But when it comes to beefs, because we already had the Pusha T experience and situation, there was Meek Mill, but that had a turn in his favor. Not Meek's favor, but in Drake's favor. I feel like he has to respond to this. On Kendrick's side, I feel like because he's such an outside of the box artist, and because he ain't a rapper that, like, when you think of Kendrick Lamar, you don't think commercial. You think Kendrick rapping because he like rapping and he gonna say what he needs to say and he gonna speak to the moment that he's in, right? So I feel like if Kendrick Lamar does or does not respond after this, no one would hold that against him, because he kind of, like, you know, when artsy people just be doing stuff and we were like, oh, it's because they're artsy. I feel like the same could and would be said about Kendrick Lamar. So I feel like because of his posture, because of both their postures and the way they present themselves in the genre of hip hop and in the culture and in the space of rap music, their reactions to this can vary and will be seen differently based on who they are, if that makes sense. I know y'all get what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't think we will hold them to the same expectation and the same standard because of how they postured themselves throughout their careers. But I know one thing, I'm waiting. Okay, I's waiting. I can't wait for this. Okay. What do y'all think about it? So far, we have, somebody said it's 2-0. I ain't gonna rank it because I don't know. But I will say, if we talking about historic rap beefs and rap songs, this response from Kendrick Lamar will be added to the list of some of the best hip hop beef responses. Even though people talking about replay factor, and even though people comparing it to other things, when you really listen to what he's saying, he was going and didn't let up for 6 minutes. And Kendrick Lamar funny. You know, I like me a funny man. I like me a jokety joke ass man. And Kendrick is funny. And I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way. I'm serious. That man funny. I laughed. You make me laugh, you got me. So that's my stance. What do y'all think about the overall beef in the situation, and where do you think this should and is going to go next? One thing I do know before I wrap up, I know J. Cole relieved, because this brother, he ain't got time for all of this, okay? But again, let me know. Y'all can find me on social media at Cornelia, and let me know your thoughts. Another thing that has been consuming social media, Black news in particular, was the most recent Club Shay Shay interview with Shannon Sharpe and Amanda Seales. It literally started like a wildfire of discussion, like most of his podcasts have done in the most recent. And on the side, quick aside, I saw somewhere that Shannon Sharp's interview with Cat Williams was only 2 million views away from being one of the most viewed YouTube podcast videos. I don't know how true that is, because y'all know people on social media be lying. And I be coming down on people for believing everything that they read without no research. So I'm saying I saw that without doing any research. But if that is true, that is crazy. So I did not watch the full interview. It's like he be going long. Like, I can't sit and watch hours of an interview. I just can't. So you got to give it to me in bites. So I watched some of it in bites, and the pieces that I saw were very good, very enlightening, and definitely conversation starters. But what I don't do, and y'all know this about me, I do not use my platform, this podcast, to talk negatively or to highlight negative things, especially about my peers in the industry, especially Black people. I hope that at any point I have, and sometimes, I might joke about certain things. I was talking about how Jonathan Majors was running down the street with them shoe boots on. Like, I might joke about certain things, but I will not and do not want to ever use my space to put my peers and my colleagues in a negative light, especially when there have been opportunities for other people to do that on other platforms. I'm not here for that. So I'm not going to go too deep into the contents of the podcast, what people had to say in response, who said what, who did what. I ain't going to do that. I would like to slightly pivot and discuss a topic of discussion that came about from all of the conversation after the podcast. So in case you don't know, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco also have another podcast, I believe it's called Nightcap, where they talk in a more casual manner about current events, hot topics, and things that are going on in sports and entertainment and just culture in general. Well, on the most recent podcast episode after the Amanda Seales interview, they had Gilbert Arenas on there as well. And Shannon Sharp was discussing his thoughts about the interview. And from that, there was sparked a conversation and debate and an entire, just some discourse about Black people, specifically Black women, being educated, dating, and marriage. So let me play the clip that sparked this conversation that I'm having here, and then I'm gonna tell y'all my point of playing this and kind of what I'm feeling after the fact. So let me play that clip for y'all right now.
Dealing with men or women, you're not dating them, you're dating their childhood, their past traumas. That's what you got to get past. So I'm excited. I was excited to have her. She was great. She taught me a lot of things. But she's highly, 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 highly educated. She's real versed. She can sing. She's a comedian. She's a writer.
Is she married?
No, she's not married. She's not married.
The same day, huh?
I mean, yes, I'm listening to you list all the qualities that she has, and I'm just curious if she was married, because that sounds like that's a great catch for someone.
Yeah. No, that sounds like some flaws for some for men. Because as educated as she is,
right?
Yeah.
She's there's a standard of a man that she's looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's not on the same educational level as her, she's gonna look down on. And but that is, if they're more educated than her, then they talking down to her. Right. So these are the type of women that will typically be single because they can't find the equal partner to they are.
She wants someone that's versed. She wants someone that's inquisitive. She wants someone that wants to travel. I mean, look, to each his own. But I ain't got no problem with Amanda Seales. She
So when I saw that clip, I immediately said, what are these dudes talking about? Like, what are y'all talking about? There's certain conversations that as I get older, it's becoming harder and harder for me to understand rationale and lack of perspective, right? So to that video underneath, I posted a comment and I said, only in Black American culture is education seen as a negative or character flaw. Because I honestly believe that, right? Only in Black American culture is education seen as a negative or character flaw, because as someone, and I don't want to speak and loop everybody in like I know everybody in every culture, but I do know a lot of people. And I do have a lot of friends and have made a lot of friends over the years from my time living in New York, DC, Virginia, Michigan, LA, Sacramento. I've made a lot of friends from different backgrounds and different cultures. And in all of those cases, education in their families, their communities is still seen as an elite accomplishment. It is a desirable accomplishment. It is a preferred standard when it comes to partnering. Not to say that is the blanket for every culture and everybody within that culture, but I have never heard conversations from people of other backgrounds and cultures saying or treating a woman or a man in some cases, but mostly in this conversation, a woman, treating her having an education and being educated as something that is undesirable for partnership. Because let me tell you something. Even when you talk about people like our friends who are from Nigeria or Ghana, right? You ain't a doctor, you ain't a lawyer, you ain't an engineer, you ain't doing something with your life. You can't show up. You can't come into our family like that. Again, I'm just giving perspective on what I've seen from the friends and relationships that I have built over the years with people from diverse backgrounds. So when I posted that, these were some of the comments. Again, I said, only in Black American culture is education seen as a negative or a character flaw. Somebody said, a masculine woman doesn't get the top pick of men. Just stop it. And y'all know I went on a diatribe before I went to say, when is getting an education considered masculine? Who deemed being able to learn how to read, write, and spell and take some classes at a college at the bachelor's degree level deemed a male trait? But let me continue on. Somebody said, nope, wrong. It's negative when women think that's what men want out of women. So now you have a passport bro movement. Somebody else said, education is not seen as a negative, as there are many educated women who are married. The only difference is that she possesses traits that stop her from men wanting to marry her. Another man. Only in Black culture, women think they're better for getting a degree and making $60,000 a year. That same person said, they weak ass degree don't bring your value up. Y'all are having an issue realizing that. So let me address some of these, because again, I said that I'm having a really difficult time understanding, and I don't think it's clicking for some people. So let me say this. One, Black women are getting degrees. We're getting degrees because we want to. First of all, like we're getting education because we want to. I know a lot of women. And I'm not saying I know a lot of people from diverse backgrounds. I know a lot of women on some like braggadocio. Like, I'm just saying I've lived in a lot of places. And when you are in industries that forces you to talk to people and to make connections and build community, even if they're not your close friends, you still know a lot of people and have a lot of conversations. I'm a comic. My job is to observe people and listen, and to take that and translate that and to deliver it back to the audience in a funny way so it can be relatable content and talk about messaging that is currently happening. So I know a lot of women, and I ain't never heard any of them mention that they got their degree for a relationship prospect. Let me say it again. I have never heard and I know a lot of women with degrees. I have never heard any woman that I know say, yeah, I'm about to get this degree because I need me a man. I've heard women even say they getting a degree because they bored. Like, y'all, I'm bored. I'm just going to give me another master's degree. I'm bored. I'm going to just go back to grad school. I've heard that. But I have never heard any woman say they're getting a degree for a relationship. Another thing. Some women just don't want to be uneducated. Like, I don't understand. Like, I hate the myth and the idea that receiving a higher education is only for the purpose of getting a job. I hate that narrative where people will be like, you don't got to go to college to get a job. Right. But you go to college so you can learn. The numbers for literacy coming out of high school in America are despicable. People coming out don't even know how to read, write, and spell. There are classes in college that should be mandatory. Those first 2 years should be mandatory if we're keeping it a buck. Because some of that education that you're getting is not about getting a job. It's continued learning that you will need. English 101, English 102. A foreign language should be required. Psychology, sociology, economics, accounting and finance, business law. Okay, that should all be required learning. So again, some women are not saying, dang, I need to get me a degree so I can get a man. They're saying, you know what? I need to get me a degree so I can be educated. It's just very simple. Another thing, and I think we all should pay attention to this, man or woman. Some people just trying to increase their prospects and their options in a quickly changing economy and job market. Y'all know the market moving fast. As somebody who has recruited and has and works in spaces where salary conversations and compensation and changing dynamics of the workforce, as somebody who's in that space often and has lots of conversations around that, you got to do everything that you can to stay competitive in these markets. And regardless of what people try to say, because I know you can increase your learning potential in trades, electrician work, plumbing, all of those. I know that's a fact, but even with that, you got to get some type of education and certification. And in this market and in this climate, higher education is still an unbeatable tool. I don't care what they telling y'all. It is still unbeatable. You got to be smart about the areas that you're trying to go in, but it is still unbeatable. So again, women ain't really like, I got to get me a man. I'm going to get me a degree. No, they trying to make some money so they won't be out here living in poverty. This seems like common sense to me. Okay. Maybe it's just me. Another point. I think we on point 5 or 6. I ain't really counting. It seemed like it's real difficult for some people to accept the fact that every aspect of women's behavior isn't shaped around the male gaze. Everything that women are doing, especially as we get in these younger generations who see things differently, everything that happens with women and every decision that women make is not centered around the male gaze, especially when it comes to like education and career. Some people may have those ideas, but I, again, have never heard none of my friends, associates, anybody say, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to get my PhD in pharmacy, be a pharmacist, so I can get me a boyfriend. I ain't never heard it. I have heard them say, I need to make some more money. I got to level up. So I really want us, and by us, I mean, whether this is men or women, young or old, to decenter yourselves. And this is coming, even if you circle back and piggyback to the video I played with Shannon, Chad, and Gilbert. You see, when they were talking about and recapping Amanda's video, they automatically centered men when discussing her education and her qualities that she had. They centered her when those things have nothing to do with them and or the idea and concept of relationship. Everything ain't about you. Everything is not about you. decenter yourselves. As women, decenter yourselves. Men, decenter yourselves. It ain't parents, decenter yourself. It ain't about you and your kid and your kids' life. Center your own self in your own lives. But again, we gonna decenter for the 2024. And lastly, because again, the comment was, only in Black American culture is education seen as a negative or character flaw. I read an article in one of the publications, I forget which one, maybe in the LA Times, maybe even the New York Times, CNN, whichever one, that it said in order for a single person to be comfortable living in Los Angeles, they have to be making over $113,000 a year. That is in order to be comfortable. In order to be considered right above poverty and like that line of struggle, you got to be making $72,000 in Los Angeles. $72,000. Anywhere else, you can buy a house, live comfortably, and raise a kid with $72,000. In LA, that's poverty, comfort, at least $113,000. So when you hear people pursuing higher education and getting degrees and trying to level up and saying, I got to make more money and I got to hustle and I got to do this, and what is, I guess now is deemed masculine, it's not because women are saying they want better relationship prospects. It's not because they think that'll be sexy and attractive to men. And low key, it is attractive to some, because I never had a problem with a man who had saying he had a problem with a woman who had. I never heard it personally. It could be happening, but I never heard it personally. But women ain't saying and doing all of these things for a man. They doing it so that we won't be living in freaking poverty in LA County, New York, Atlanta, Seattle, and San Francisco. Again, it don't be that deep. Women are not trying to outshine and level up and get. We just don't want to be struggling. Like, let's keep it a buck. So, and I'm going to stop there because y'all know I can go on. And at this point, I feel like I'm ranting. But I feel like y'all get it. But that triggered that in me because honestly, I'm tired of people not using common sense about why people are doing the things that they're doing. And instead of using common sense, they are centering themselves and trying to make it about them. So what do y'all think? Okay. What do y'all think? Do you think, or have you observed that higher education in the Black community is viewed differently within us, our culture, than it is in others? Let me know your perspective about that. Okay. I'll be anxious to hear your thoughts and your personal experiences within that. Hit me up. Y'all know where to find me. You can chat me and let me know on social media at Cornelia. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about Kendrick Lamar delivering his response to the most current rap beef. We also talked about a conversation around educated Black women and if education is deemed as a negative flaw or something undesirable for women within the Black community. Hit me up and let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.